Hi there, Robin here from Expert On, and today we're going to be talking about fog machines and hazers and the differences and what you're probably looking for if you're looking for a consumer product, something to take home for a party, something for, let's say, Halloween, something for a backyard party, a pretty big party. Anyways, but party nonetheless, that's why this is here. Other people do use it for other special projects. We have had fire department guys come in and buy it. We've had military guys come in and buy it. They're using it so this way they can practice with all that extra smoke around. Now, let's get one thing out of the way. There is a difference between the two, and a lot of times you're talking fog machine, but what you're really hoping for is a haze machine, but you're just not sure what that is, and this might be the first time you hear about it. So, fog machines give you, they're like the shock and awe. Big, powerful, big blast of smoke. So if we hit this, boom, you get a huge shot of smoke coming out of it, and it's because we're using just standard fog fluid in this machine, it's going to go away in normal, regular, fast time. They come in different sizes. So this one here is 400 watt, very popular for price point. For a couple of bucks more, you get yourself into a 700 watt machine. And we also here at Expert On have 1,000 watt, which is in our consumer category products. Real popular stuff. Now, important to also note, water-based means you don't put water in it, you just buy fog fluid that's water-based. So I happen to have some Marq brand here. We like using it along with a bunch of other brands that we have. Instead of the generic stuff you get at the Halloween shops or at the party stores, they may or may not have any type of paperwork, and you don't know what kind of chemicals they're going into. A lot of the brands are made in North America, like in the US or Canada or Mexico. So those tend to be the ones that have the paperwork to go with it. So they're much safer. So we tend to stick with those because we actually know what the recipe is inside that. Anyways, back to the machines. Now, when you're getting a fog machine, you gotta understand, basically it works like an iron. So there's a heating element inside a tube that's got a heating coil around it, and that's going to heat that tube up and allow the fluid to get pumped through that. Now, it comes through like a mist. Think of a spray bottle, pump bottle. So it gets brought all the way down to a tight little spray, and that comes out, and as it heats up, it whoosh, turns into a plume of smoke. Now, as you pump more fluid through it, that heating element's going to cool down, and eventually it's going to stop, and then it's got to heat back up again, and then when it's hot enough, the pump will kick back in, and off it goes again. Now, if you get a machine like this one where everything's hardwired in, including what they call the remote, which is basically an on-off switch on a cord, I can turn it on, and I can turn it off. Now, that's all. I'm now in charge of this. I'm the guy turning it on and off. There's no other way to do this. This is hardwired in. It's stuck this way. Now, you spend a couple of bucks more, and, like I'm talking 10, 20 bucks maybe. You get into the machine that has a removable controller in the back, which allows you to unplug the basic controller and then plug in an option like this. It's called a timer. Now, a timer allows me to do a couple of neat things. If I press, I can first manually shoot. So let's see what a 700 watt looks like. That's a 700 watt. Just means it's got a larger heating element inside of it. Pump rate varies depending by models. There's subtle differences there, but at the end of the day, it's how much fluid can go through this machine because of the size of that heating element inside before it has to stop and then reheat up. And it also heats up a little bit faster than a 400 watt machine because, well, it's got more power to get there. So that's thing number one. The remote control is this particular one being a timer. It allows me to set two options on it. One is duration. So I want this thing to spit for, let's say, about 3 seconds. And I want to do it every about, I don't know, we'll set it for we'll keep it at the bottom, between 10 and 15 seconds. And then I hit the timer button. Now, while I'm talking to you, the timer is now on. So every 15 seconds or so, it's going to shoot off for about 3 seconds. Now, the timer might be a little higher. It's a little hard to determine between really low and 10, 15. But there it goes. So it stopped automatically. It started and stopped. Surprise me. Just happens when it happens. I can increase how much and how long the duration is going to be in between. So I can make it spit for a longer period of time. So if we push this all the way up here, let's say to 5 seconds about. When it goes off this time, you're going to see that's going to go off and stay off for a longer period of time. big, big plus. Means, guess what? Hands-free, no more babysitting. I get as much as I want for as long as I want. And the important thing is it also allows it to heat up in between cycles. It'll take care of that. Once it heats up, it'll go off again. Now, the reason why it hasn't gone off yet is because it was in a heating cycle there, just timing. That's all. So, again, try and get a brand name fluid. Usually, a brand name would be like, you know, an American DJ, a Chauvet, a Marq type fluid, that sort of thing. And this is going to do its thing. And stop automatically. There we go. So, that's always important. There are different variations of this, but if you're having a house party, that sort of thing, that's pretty much going to take care of you, the standard stuff. So, there it goes again. So, we'll turn the timer off on that one. So, that's pretty much what we've been looking at there. And you'll notice that it probably didn't have much effect to the lights here. Even if I turn this one on again, not much of effect there. But that's the chalk and off. It's like, ooh, look at all the smoke come out of it. There you go. So, 400 watt fog machine, water base, 700 watt fog machine, water base. Over here, now running in the background has been a Hazer. Now a Hazer, slow and steady is the name of the game with this guy. It also has what they call, in the technical term, hang time. That's how long the actual mist that comes out is going to stay in the air. Think of it as a room full of people smoking. That sort of thing. It lingers. So with this, you're going to get a lot longer duration. And it means we can have a lot less come out at a time. So you're not going to notice a big whoosh like these guys, but it builds up. And we get to choose how much and how little by choosing the actual knob. Now on this one happens to be a Marq, the 700 to be exact. Now I've got a knob and I can turn this up a little bit. Now, two things are happening now. One, the fan's been running the whole time, so there's a little fan in here to help blow this along. Two, there's a heating element and the Hazer fluid that's inside of it, and that's now pumping out. Now, we'll notice that while I've been talking, there are lights on the table, other lights in front of me. These things are all here. Now, you'll notice this thing is nice and slow and steady, and it's going to bring everything to light. Now, what we're going to do now is we're actually going to turn the lights off so we can get a better look at what's going on. So, Hazer, fog machine. You go to a big concert, you go to a big DJ show, something like that, and you see lasers and everything's all working around you, and you can see all of that. It's because they have things like Hazers in the background. Oh, right. Poof. Lights are off. So, now we've got just our magic ball. We'll put a link to that because that's a real popular little ball. It doesn't cost very much money. We'll turn the Hazer back on, and you'll see that all of this light is coming up around us. So all of that's shining. We see all of that happening, and this will stay constant and consistent at whatever level I set it at. So that's the nice advantages of having Haze machines. Haze machines tend to cost 2 to 3 times more than a fog machine, but now you know what to shop for if this is the effect you're looking for. So turn that down. And the fluid should say Haze on it. And the same thing. Brand names, very important. This is a water base. Always what you want to have at home. So here, if we fire off the lights off, the actual 700, that's what we're going to get. Move that around so you get a good effect of that. And we'll slide over here and we'll bring the 400. Now, again, this is a Marq 400. We're in Canada, so we purchased the acoustic audio 700, but it's the same pretty much as American DJ. A lot of companies have a 700 watt that looks just like this, black. It's a pretty generic product. A lot of generic brand names on this product, so we'll have links for that as well. And Marq's product has lights in the front of it. So if it was red, it would have red lights. If it was blue lights. The black and the white ones have amber lights, so this, when I fire it off, tends to look more like flames. And like I said, the Marq tends to have a more refined pressure jet to it, so it certainly does put on an impressive show. So remember, the fogs are going to dissipate faster, the Hazer is going to stay longer, so again, bring the Hazer on. And the Hazer I turn on a little bit, and I walk away from that, and I'm not worried about it. You scale it to the size of the room, and you just kind of leave it, and you're all set. So there we go. I hope this was all helpful for you. We're launching this video here in October because we know Halloween's coming up and everybody wants to have an idea of what to get. Here's a bunch of them. If you've got any questions or comments, leave them down below. Don't worry about that. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe if you have. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time on Expert Island.